ago, something terrible happened to me. It was a typical Wednesday afternoon, and with this convention only a few weeks away, I had to get a haircut. Now, maybe it's just me, but I have had the absolute worst luck with haircuts since moving to East Lansing. I walked in the barbershop, took a seat in the waiting section until the next barber was available. The situation looked a little bit like this. Alan? Yeah, that's me. I'm Jeff, and I'll be cutting your hair today. We walked back to his chair, I sat down, and he asked the typical question. So, how much are we cutting off today? I told him the usual, take off some from the sides, shorten up the top, and get rid of the sideburns. I sat back, engaged in the conversation, and before I knew it, Jeff handed me a mirror, letting me know that he had finished. I took a quick look, and yet again, another bad haircut. I mean, this wasn't just a bad haircut, this was a terrible haircut. I asked him to shorten up the top a little bit, and I pretty much looked like a middle-aged man with a receding hairline. My bangs remind me of when I was in kindergarten, and I fearlessly tried cutting them myself. I am sure we've all had to deal with the aftermath of a bad haircut before. For the guys in the room, how about when that barber gets a little too close to those clippers, leaving those awkward gouges scattered in your head? For the ladies, how about when you go in just for a trim, and before you know it, you're practically donating to Locks of Love? We have all been there before. Just like my haircut didn't go as I had planned, sometimes the picture-perfect scenarios that we craft in our minds don't go exactly like we want them to. We say the wrong thing. We make simple mistakes. We lose some of our closest friends, or something happens to us that we aren't even mentally or physically prepared for. Situations like this happen all the time, in almost every facet of our lives. But it's not about what happens to us that matters. It's about how we react to it and how we grow from the situation. During the summertime, growing up, my extended family and I would spend an entire week up north at one of my favorite places in the entire world, Wolf Lake. Now, for those of you who don't know where this is, Wolf Lake is a few miles away from the small town of Baldwin, Michigan. It's up north in Region 5, and it's approximately right here on my map. As a child, and even now, as an 18-year-old college freshman, there were so many reasons why I looked forward to this trip. Our week was spent riding bikes around the lake, spontaneous trips to the candy store with my cousins, sharing hilarious stories and memories around the campfire, and my all-time favorite, stargazing and watching for satellites late at night with my Aunt Kathy out on the dock. You see, my Aunt Kathy is one of the strongest people that I have ever known. And if there was one person that knew how to deal with any situation, it was her. You see, my Aunt Kathy wasn't average, and she dealt with a lot during her time here on Earth. It was 1962, and while other young ladies were focused on graduating from high school, getting married, or even entering the workforce, my aunt was diagnosed with a serious, life-threatening disease that doctors at the time knew little about. Now, imagine being in her shoes. You just graduated, and in a matter of months, you're about to head off to the college of your dreams, or start your first big kid job. But your doctor tells you that you have something that has almost no cure, and that no one your age has to deal with. My Aunt Kathy wasn't sure what the future held for her, but she knew that she wanted to live her life to the fullest. At the age of 19, she underwent her first of 8 operations to remove part of her parotid gland, right by her cheekbone, leaving her neck permanently scarred and affected from the operation. When her and her husband later found out that it was cancer that she was dealing with, her marriage fell apart. As she continued to age, the slow growing cancer was able to stay with her during her entire adult life. She's not with us today, but my Aunt Kathy fought a vicious fight against cancer for 47 years. Now, let's get one thing straight. I am not on this stage to throw a pity party for myself or to turn the Wharton Center into a cry fest. I am pretty sure the Slate announcement took care of that last night. But what I am trying to do is to show you that life threw my Aunt lemons from every direction. But she made some of the sweetest lemonade that anyone could ever make. When bad things happened to her, like being diagnosed with cancer, or dealing with her marriage falling apart, she didn't say things like, "Why me?" or tell others, "Look what I have to deal with." Instead, she asked herself questions like, what's the best thing that can come from this hardship? Or how can I grow from this situation? During the final months of her life, as her battle worsened, she didn't complain about how her life didn't go as she had planned, or talk about the things that she didn't get to experience because of her illness. Instead, she focused on the positive things, the people she had met, the places she had visited, the family that she loved, and the lessons that she had learned along the way. How often in our lives do we find ourselves in a situation that doesn't go exactly like we wanted it to? As a result, do we learn and grow from it and face the future with courage and determination? Or do we just take a step back, cross our arms, hold some grudges, and do nothing at all? Someone once said that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. So how will you react to the lemons that life throws your way? Maybe your basketball team doesn't win that title you've been working so hard for. Afterwards, will you congratulate the other team on a job well done and set goals for improvement? Or will you just turn your head, make a rude comment, and do nothing at all? Or maybe you don't move on to the next round of leadership contests like you were planning on. Are you there to support and motivate one of your closest friends who did? Or do you just make rude comments of how the judges had no idea what they were doing at all? Michigan FFA, I have traveled all year, 365 days. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that things happen. We spill our coffee before heading to a chapter visit. We say something to someone that we mean to be constructive, and it goes the wrong way. We accidentally say Fat Friday instead of Fat Tuesday during your session welcome. We accidentally break Jackson Harris's phone charger. We lose some of our closest friends. Or just like my Aunt Kathy, something happens that we aren't prepared for. Our lives are far from perfect. We're put in situations that we don't want to deal with, but we have to deal with. So whether it's as simple as dealing with a bad haircut, being diagnosed with cancer, or losing one of your closest friends, things happen. So the question is, how will you react?
Your obsession with taking pictures has led to this past year being documented step by step, which we will all be thankful for someday. Your attempts at being funny have kept things light this past year. Thank you so much for the love and passion in the FFA that you share with our team and the entire state of Michigan. Michigan FFA, our state president, Alan Green.